أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Thanks to everyone who is joining us this evening. I am about a minute and a half late getting this started. Primary reason being that Isha prayer comes in at 6:53 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I kind of rushed through Isha, but I didn't rush. I didn't want to run through it. But I did do very short ayats, or surahs, I should say, very short surahs, to be able to somewhat be on time. Assalamu alaikum, Imam Adam Bia. Am I being heard?
I was on the other side of the room. Had somebody
Okay.
taking myself off
Uh,
from mute. I'll be right
all
back.
right. Okay. So while we wait on other members of our fine group to join us, and I hope there's plenty of them and plenty of you. I wonder what's on your mind. I wonder what you're thinking about direction of the country, what's happening around the world, what's happening to your family economically, what's happening or could happen if you happen to be one of the, I don't know, millions of people who count on the Affordable Care Act to kind of allay some of your healthcare fears and that political football that is being tossed back and forth between the executive branch and Congress, where that's going to land. And I wonder if there are any of you out there who are signed up for the Affordable Care Act who've actually seen your new premiums. I haven't asked anybody personally. I don't know too many people anymore that are signed up for it. I mean, most of the people that I spend time with are either in my age group and they're on Medicare, or they are still employed and have some kind of group health plan, which is great, or they're single, maybe without a family, and some of them decided that they don't need a health plan, that they're in perfectly good health. So they just scrap the whole thing. And some of those are people that work. They don't want to even pay group insurance premiums, have that money taken out of their check. So they don't have any insurance. So I'm really interested to find out if the potential horror stories, excuse me, that we were expecting with premium increases has actually occurred. So if you happen to be listening, we would, or I would, can't speak for everybody. I would definitely like to find out if that's happened to you.
Well, I'll probably run across a lot of, I say a lot of, but I have clients who are covered by the Affordable Care Act. I won't see them until they start coming in with the tax return, and I can ask them what have they heard for the upcoming year.
Hmm.
But I do run across clients all the time that have are covered by the Affordable Care Act.
So no one directly in your masjid has said anything about it or, you know, brought it up in conversation, even casually.
No,
Hmm. Okay.
but that doesn't mean they're not covered. I'm,
Right. Understood. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. I can.
but that's my point. People in the masjid, they're peculiar,
Hmm.
and they don't want to talk to me unless they are my clients. A lot of them are not my kind of clients for whatever reasons. I guess they don't want me to know whatever. I'm not sure what it is.
Right.
Uh, but I do have some members that I do their taxes every year, and but I haven't talked. None of them have come to me and said that they won't. Their fees are going up. But
Hmm.
the reality is, if they do what they're trying to do to it, then they won't have. I mean, um, they won't be covering a lot of people. They've been whittling at the Affordable Care Act since the president. It was passed under President Obama's administration,
Right.
and it's like a it's like a structure, and they've been sawing at the legs. Every year they saw at something and whatever to try to weaken it. Um, they can't repeal it because they don't have anything to put into place, right? So, but they've been when it first came out, if you weren't covered by the Affordable Care Act,
Hmm.
you could have a penalty assessed to you, and that was the first thing they stopped. And there've been other things that they've stopped. They've whittled that to try to tear it up, but again, they claim they're going to, especially the current president claims he's going to pass something to take his place,
Hmm.
but he ain't that smart, so he hasn't done it yet. He didn't do it the first time, though he tried, and he hasn't even talked about doing it on this term, even though Republicans have, but they haven't come up with anything close to even replace it, and that's the problem. So I know in about 3 or 4 weeks, because I'll ask the clients, especially if they come in with proof that they were covered in 2025, what's happening this year. We'll see. Okay, well,
No, I was saying we were getting a very serious echo there for a
oh,
minute, and I could not figure out what it was. and I'm hoping it's gone now, and
Yes.
we can move forward. So yeah, I'm hoping that some of our other group members will join us, and because I'm really interested to see, that's one of the things that has been on my mind is whether or not that is actually going to be an issue, or if that whole thing was just totally overblown from the beginning about how much increase that we were going to get. And, all the ancillary stuff that the executive branch has spoken about, like giving people direct payments to be able to pay that premium. I mean, this, it's six of these and half dozen of another. You could keep the Affordable Care Act
Yeah.
the way it is with the credits, or you could send checks directly to people, which is a transfer from the Treasury of basically the same money. But I guess they're betting that the people would take the money and not spend it on health insurance, that they would do stuff to pump up the economy, which is suffering. I don't I don't understand even throwing that out there. I don't know where that comes from. I know he's not going to do it, but I don't even understand the logic of the language of putting that out there.
The
Unless
logic
you,
is to divert people, keep them occupied. That's the logic. Throw them a bone and let them chew on it.
hmm.
You still sharing your screen over here?
Yes, yeah, it's still, well, no, it's actually not shared.
I'm seeing.
It you're seeing it on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, well that's good. Just the echo is gone, so I'm glad that the YouTube
Okay.
is still showing. I don't know what caused the echo. I don't know what button I hit or whatever that was giving us that, but glad it's gone. It was annoying. The whole, to me, it's like the entire economy of the United States, and it's still a pretty strong economy. I mean, pretty much every country in the world, without a doubt, would want our economy in place of theirs. That being said, it does seem to me that there is a lot of plastering over holes that's going on, and that it's not just from the government. Because there are things happening in the retail sector, for example, with staples like food that literally to me don't make any sense unless they could have been doing this all along before anybody ever mentioned tariffs. So some perishable things. Obviously, we know beef prices, things like that are going through the roof, right? These are perishable items. So we understand that if you slaughter a cow or sheep, goats, whatever, that you can keep it frozen for a while, but even after a while, you might get freezer burn on it. That most of that is to be sold and consumed in a period of time that, I mean, I don't know if that's 6 months, I don't know if it's a year, I don't know if it's a year and a half, but it's not going to be 3 to 5 years on something like that. So we understand the price rise on those type items. And some of the other underlying reasons for those prices going up, cost to feed and all that type of thing. Canned goods. I shop primarily at Kroger, which is a fairly large grocer that's in a lot of states, not in every state, but they're in a lot of states. And occasionally I'll also go and buy at Whole Foods for certain items. And amongst things that could sit on the shelf for a long period of time, I mean, I don't even know the last time I looked at like a can of kidney beans to worry about when the expiration date on that can of beans was, or a bag of beans or something like that. I can't remember the last time I looked. Those prices, they're lower now for me, items that I buy, than even pre-COVID. And the grocery business is notorious for having very narrow margins. It's a huge volume business. They don't have a lot of markup. So I think they're trying to keep us shopping. I think they're trying to keep us from making huge changes in our buying habits because I think the toll of the tariffs is eventually going to hit unless the executive branch is able to do some magic tricks to fool people into thinking that things are better than they actually are. And I don't know if anybody else sees that because, I mean, we're in different parts of the country and maybe retailers are reacting differently in different markets. But I really found that odd. When I went grocery shopping on Saturday, I was astounded at the low prices on certain items. Have you noticed anything like that in and around Fayetteville?
Yeah, your prices have gone up on groceries. Eggs would hit hard.
Have they
Eggs
gone
would.
down on anything though?
Have I noticed them going down?
On
Going back down?
anything. On anything.
Just gas.
Okay. Yeah.
Just gas. Gas is pretty low. I mean, $2 and something a gallon. 2.32 a gallon.
Okay, it's 259 here.
Hmm.
That's
Other
the
other than
kind of
that,
the common price.
uh,
I said that's kind of the common price today when I looked, it was 259.
yeah. Other than that, I don't haven't noticed too much of anything going down.
But you would probably tell me though that it has not accelerated price wise as much as you thought, say 6 months ago.
Mhm. No, it hasn't accelerated like it did back then. No.
Okay. And that part has surprised me. And that's why I said that it to me it seems like in some cases businesses are papering over their losses maybe or because I just think they're trying to keep market share. I think they're trying to not have people significantly change buying habits. And I may be wrong on that. And maybe the tariffs don't have the effect that people have said they'll have. And people will continue spending at the levels that they are.
Well, somebody's got to eat the tariffs, and I know that Trump was encouraging the corporations to eat it.
hmm I think that's what they're doing at the moment.
So, but if they're doing that, they're going to get paid on the back end.
Okay, so that begs a whole nother set of questions.
Hmm
To get paid on the back end means either something gets cut from
hmm
probably from people that need it,
Exactly.
or deficit spending goes up even more, or both. Because you can't create money out of just thin air, especially when you basically add to the debt every day. It would be another thing if people were paying you money, if you were increasing every day and using compound interest, then you could extrapolate that out and say, well, we're gonna spend today what we'll have in 5 years. 5 years from now, with this level of income and this interest, we estimate we're gonna have X number of dollars. So we're just gonna go ahead and spend that now.
hmm
Which governments do that. Governments have been known to do that quite often. But we're going in the opposite direction. Our deficit is growing every day. So the money to pay these businesses that are eating it maybe doesn't exist and you have to create it by borrowing. And since you won't raise taxes on corporations and you won't raise taxes on the wealthy, because they'll throw you in the sea, then that puts it again on the backs of poor people
hmm
and young people who
Don't have a clue.
don't have a clue, right? They're just trying to make it month to month and figure life out.
Yep.
And
Well,
that's, you know,
the reason you haven't seen a model of it because we've never had a leader that used extortion as a tactic.
this is true. Not to this extent anyway.
Openly, blatantly, and to that extent.
Right. Yeah. We not somebody that was proud of it. They tell me
Right.
that Lyndon Baines Johnson twisted a lot of arms, but he did it in back rooms. You didn't see it happening. And he didn't go out and brag about it on TV.
Yeah, that's true. Somebody said the Exxon, right? No, was it Exxon?
Yeah, it's ExxonMobil. Yeah. He didn't like what the
Because
CEO said about the cost of going into Venezuela's oil fields and getting those things back up running, to capacity. I mean, the guy's in the business. He knows it costs too much money,
mhm,
too much of a risk.
right. And he,
Better spend their money somewhere else and have much safer, good returns, much safer environment without all the headaches and the upfront cost.
right.
And then Trump threw a number out there. What was it, $100 billion or something? I hope it was billion instead of a million. Had to be 100 billion that he was talking about giving the oil companies to go into Venezuela. And it just tells me once again, this guy he doesn't know how finance works. That's why he had so many bankruptcies. He doesn't understand how much it actually costs to run a business correctly. $100 billion to Exxon Mobil, No. If you just gave it to them, they might think about it. But if you're going to spread that money amongst, say, 5 to 7 different energy companies,
Hmm.
it's a non-starter. The ground rigs that they have to build to put on site to extract enough oil and natural gas out of the ground, I think, man, those things they might cost $2 or $3 billion. And Venezuela is that's not a small country. And their oil
Right,
fields is an area where they have production is not small.
right.
There's all kinds of issues that this guy, I don't know who's whispering in his ear, but whoever it is didn't know what they were talking about. So that's one thing that's been on my mind. The other thing that's really been on my mind, obviously, is Minneapolis and what happened there. And I'm really torn because I know that from the videos that I've now seen, the officer who fired his weapon and killed that young woman was wrong. His life was not in danger. And he basically committed manslaughter in shooting her. I believe it was 3 times. I could be wrong, but I think he shot her 3 times and then cussed her after she had been shot. So I am 100% behind arresting him, charging him, indicting him, and putting him on trial.
Right.
No question.
No, no,
There's another thing though, Adam, that bothers me.
what's that?
And I don't know, and I almost hate to say this since it's going to be on YouTube, but there's a certain privilege that was at work when you take your vehicle into a situation where you have armed people and you basically create an obstruction. Now, it takes a lot of gumption to block the road or in any way seem to interfere with the activities of heavily armed people. And to have your partner get out of the vehicle and narrate the confrontation.
But, but still, brother, to use that as a reasoning to shoot her,
He's wrong. I agree with you.
and to say that he was very scared for his life,
He lied.
and he got run over almost by a car before, tells me he's an idiot for standing his ground. Get out the way.
I 100% agree with you. But here's my question. You have children? I don't think I've ever asked you that question before. Do you have children?
Uh, they ain't children no more. But yeah, I had
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean, though.
yeah, yeah.
Would you instruct your son or your daughter to do what she did.
No.
Okay. That's my point.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah. I mean, this is not absolving that. I can't remember his name. It's not resolving him at all. He should be charged and prosecuted. And maybe I'm only talking to us, and I don't even know if we have to talk to us because we know better, most of us, unless we're high or mentally ill. We know better because they basically walk around with shoot on sight
Hmm.
instructions when it comes to us. That there needs to be, at least I'm going to say in the activist community, there needs to be a written set of instructions on when, where, and how, at least, to properly protest. What the legal guidelines are, where you can be, what you can do, what is your best course of action if certain things are said to you.
Now, there is some of that out there now.
It must not be getting everybody.
Well, I mean, how can it? You know, how can
Right.
it?
I guess what I'm saying is I think those two women were fairly well educated people. I'm not saying they're rocket scientists or anything like that, but I have a, I'm thinking they can read and write and they can do a little bit of critical thinking, but that they decided that they were going to make a point, that they were going to create a video, and they were going to get some clicks. And I absolutely 100% think that's wrong.
Hmm.
Not from the standpoint that you should not document what's going on in your world. That's not my point. It's just you don't throw a burning rag on a pile of gasoline and then stand there. And I do think that there are some people in this country that think that they have the ability and right to do that. And when that person is somebody that goes to an African American barbecue in the park and erupts and has a conniption fit, we call her Karen, or I don't know what the male equivalent of that is. But I think now they're calling it Jessica. Karen got old, so now it's
Well,
Jessica.
they call a male Karen.
Okay, okay. We're righteously upset when somebody does that, and I'm hoping that when hopefully this comes to a logical conclusion that this guy's charged and all that kind of stuff. That in the aftermath of that, whether it's a year or 2 years or whatever down the road, that there's some more thought given to how do we protest? How do we do that safely? What are other steps that we can take to let these folks know that what they're doing is unacceptable? because that particular kind of tragedy that happened, that can happen in any city in the United States of America
Hmm.
tonight. Because those guys with ICE have been given license to go way beyond what the law allows.
Yeah.
So anyway, those were two major things that were on my mind, the economy and this whole ICE situation. I mean, there's so much stuff going on that I call it helter skelter
Hmm.
because they just start fires every day. And it makes me wonder what's really going on underneath the surface. Because there's very little, if any, follow through on anything that they initiate. I mean, almost nothing has legs.
What do you mean?
On to
Who
I'm
initiated?
talking I'm talking the executive branch of the United States of America. That idiot.
Well, see, we're assuming he's using the rationale. He doesn't care. He likes to distract, bro.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying.
We hadn't no, they haven't even talked about Epstein lately.
Right. Yeah. I mean, woman got killed, so who cares about Epstein? Venezuela's president and first lady got kidnapped. Who cares about Epstein?
But that was the purpose of that, to take the conversation away from stuff that
Right.
he can't control. The economy was killing him,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
His ratings came down because of the economy.
Has anybody done any recent ratings on him at all?
Uh, uh, I, I really, I don't even pay attention to ratings, bro.
Okay.
I personally, I don't. So, but yeah, I saw he was down like 37%,
Hmm.
which is pretty low.
That's real low. I mean, that's really, really low.
And then you got the Epstein stuff. They were killing him with that.
But nothing else, job growth is as low as when we had COVID.
Right,
Unemployment is up.
right.
We know, or at least I suspect, that the tariffs are actually going to increase the cost of living.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's going to happen.
Hmm.
The he's in a war with the Federal Reserve. I mean, he's basically weaponized the Department of Justice to try to indict anybody that says no to him.
Hmm. Which is crazy.
It's and Congress, they are back in session, right? They are
Yes,
back at work. Okay.
right.
Nothing. Nothing. I'm just, I'm amazed. I'm absolutely amazed at the level of dysfunction. Oh, I know what it was. Was it January 30th or 31st? The nation's out of money again. Remember,
So
they kicked the can down the road
yeah.
on funding the government. They
So
did a temporary.
what does,
Well, then
go ahead.
it's all those everybody that got laid off and then got brought back because what was it, 30, almost 40 days? I mean, when the government ran out of money before and Congress went home and people were out of work for like 30 to 40 days. Now they brought them all back when they passed that continuing resolution to fund the government for another, whatever, 90 days, November,
Hmm.
December, January. Well, January 30th or 31st, must be the 31st. That ends.
Hmm.
So February 1st, if they don't do something, there's another government shutdown.
Mm.
Have you heard any news reports about that lately?
No, no, I hadn't.
So that's what I mean. That's what I mean about dysfunction. It's almost like dysfunction at every level, that none of them have a handle on anything. No clear direction, no priorities. It's like a third world country.
Yeah, I'm on ChatGPT. These things need to happen to avoid the shutdown. And this is action by Congress and the president. To avoid the shutdown, the government has to pass funding, and that is all 12 full year appropriation bills. Congress is supposed to approve 12 separate spending bills. These must be passed by the House and the Senate and signed by the president before funding expires. If the lawmakers can't agree on the full budgets in time, they usually pass a continuing resolution,
Hmm.
a temporary funding law that extends current spending levels for a defined period, weeks,
Right.
months, it could be for whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So now, if the government is shut down, to avoid a shutdown, the House, the Senate, and the White House have to agree. Whereas right now, the House, Senate, and the White House are controlled by the Republicans.
Hmm.
All right. And usually that means if it's shut down, it's on them, right? Because they can't agree on the law.
Right.
So, or they can't agree on the 12 separate full year appropriation bills. Okay. Let me see what's the date when it has to be done.
Oh, this is hilarious. January
Okay.
30th. January 30th shutdown deadline. Okay.
Okay. You got it
So
already?
they passed something called, hold on, the House must have passed it. Let me get this straight here. The Senate is expected to take up a minibus appropriations package that would fund the Department of Justice, Department of Commerce, key science agencies, and other related entities, the Department of Energy and Water Development, and the Department of Interior, Environmental Protection Agency, and other eight related agencies. The package passed the House by a 397 to 28 vote last week. Even if the package clears the Senate and is signed by President Trump, Congress will still have to pass six more appropriations bills by the end of January to prevent a partial government shutdown. The House Appropriations Committee released a two-bill minibus package Sunday that would fund the Department of Treasury and agencies related to financial services, trying to keep the IRS open, right? As well as the Department of State and national security programs. So here's the strange thing. The schedule is not ideal. This is the last week of the month that the House and Senate will be in session at the same time. Next week, the House will be in session while the Senate is on recess. The following week, the roles reverse. So, I mean, it looks like they're trying to do something, but it's almost as if the way that they work, that they're in their own way
Hmm.
to a certain extent. So basically, I mean, the day's only Monday, so we got 4 more days or 3.5 days because I'm sure they're going to shut it down for Juma on Friday, you know, half a day so they can make Juma prayer and get on their plane and go home.
Hmm.
So we got 3.5 days that they're in session together unless somebody has enough strength to call them back into session from their recess. Because, like all children, you got to have recess. If you don't have recess, you can't go raise all that money
Hmm.
that you need for the midterm elections. So anyway, that one of the big pieces, obviously, is this whole debate about healthcare and the Affordable Care Act. Because that's a fairly large number economically. If they can't come to some resolution on that, I wonder just how much that tips the scale on the overall budget. And if that's going to be a sticking point, and the Democrats are not going to give the Republicans any help on that because the Democrats want to use that as a bludgeon to say, see what the Republicans did to you. And the Republicans don't want to go all the way over to the Democrat side and basically acquiesce and say, yeah, let them have all the money. We'll pay all their premiums.
Mm. But they passed they agreed to extend the Affordable Care Act.
The House did. Has the Senate taken it up yet?
No, maybe not.
Because I know that the House did pass it because you had a bunch of Republicans who were in swing districts that voted with the Democrats last week.
But they didn't.
But supposedly it was going to be dead on arrival in the Senate. So I don't know if the Senate's taken it up yet.
What they didn't do is they had given them some premium subsidies,
Hmm.
right? That
Right.
expired on December 2025. And whatever they passed did not extend that money. Anyway,
What did they pass then?
hold on. Hmm. They passed the bill that created the Affordable Care Act, but
Hmm.
they did not pass the enhanced premium help, right?
Hmm.
It wasn't reauthorized. So it's the additional money that they gave the people to in order they can keep the insurance,
Okay.
and that part did not get passed. And you're right. The Senate has not passed it at all yet. But the Republicans and Democrats agreed in the House, and it went to the Senate. And the Senate hadn't done anything with it.
Hmm. So that's a big piece of it, I think, of what some arguments
Yeah, it was that
are.
extra money that made it affordable.
Hmm.
And if they don't get that extra money, then the premiums are still going to be could increase by $200 to $500 a month.
Right. That's going to hit a lot of people hard. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people are simply going to say they can't pay it, and they're going to let it drop, and you're going to have emergency room visits that are going to choke hospitals, especially people with young children entering flu season.
Mhm.
And public hospitals, they can't turn people away.
No, they will pay it, pay for them, but the local governments it'll mess with their budget, like
Exactly.
the county budget.
Hmm. So, I mean, and in those cases, and it's been a long time since I really looked at this. And, I grew up in a small county population wise. So, I mean, they handled whatever they had to do, they handled it somehow. Here in Dallas, huge county, 5 to 7 million people,
Hmm.
we have Parkland Memorial Hospital, and their appropriations every year, you part of your obviously property taxes goes to fund that, right? So it's like every 3 years, there's a significant boost to their portion or how much that property taxes go up to cover Parkland. And it's a wonderful hospital. I mean, it's probably one of the best public hospitals in the country. It's great.
Hmm.
But you know, we have older people who are, if you're 60, you're still paying full property tax. They're trying to change that and lower the age. In Texas, you got to get to age 65 to start getting some kind of an exemption, right? On say like the first 150,000, $180,000 of your value of your home. So every year down at the county offices, the county commissioners, you see this long line of people who are down there to protest two things that have to do with their property taxes. Their children are no longer in school, so they don't want to pay higher rate to the school system. And the second thing is they don't want to pay a higher property tax rate to the public hospital because they think all it serves is low income people, African Americans, Hispanics, so on and so forth, homeless people, whatever. It's the same argument every time it comes up or, raise the property tax on that thing. It's hilarious. But they both of them still go up. It's just like everything else in the economy. You can count on stuff like that. It's going to go up 2%. And you're lucky if it only goes up 2%. That's just the cost of being alive, basically.
Hmm.
So, but basically what I'm saying is the Affordable Care Act, as imperfect as it is, if you look at it in light of our economy and how it actually has liberated people to not have to be concerned about going into medical debt, thousands of dollars.
Hmm.
I mean, Adam, November 5th was the last full physical that I had. And it's the one every year where they run me through a stress test and all that stuff, hook you all up and put you on a treadmill and all kinds of different stuff, right?
Hmm.
Well, I mean, they through my insurance, Cigna, you can go online and you can check how much everything cost. So I wasn't sick. This is just going to see the doctor, blood work, stress test, bone scan. It's $5,000.
Mm.
I paid 35 bucks. That's my copay. So I have insurance. So think about somebody that goes in who is actually ill, and maybe they actually have to spend a night or two in the hospital. I promise you they're looking at seven, $8,000.
At least.
And they don't have the money. They can't write that check. But the hospital has to pay the doctors and nurses, the technicians, the people that empty the trash. They still got to pay these people. And they're just like anybody else in business, they're going to recover that money. They're going to recover it from local government, state government, federal government, somehow, you know, they're going to get that. They're going to get that money to keep their doors open, to keep servicing the public. So I think the Affordable Care Act, one thing that it did was it limited the large amounts of medical care that people needed because they waited until they were basically at death's door before they went to get help.
Right.
So instead of $8,000, it was 1,500 bucks. That's huge. And why people can't see that and look at that model and say, okay, let's see what we can do to improve it. Let's not make it harder on people, but let's just see if we can fine tune it. Like one of the things that he has tried to do, lower the cost of prescription drugs. And I'm sure there's some other things that could be done to lower the cost of healthcare, which means it would lower the expenditures of the federal government and the state government and all that along the way. But it's a political football, no logic. So I know that you're in tax season, so we're not going to stay on here long because we don't have a huge audience tonight that I know of. There is a woman in North Carolina that she must be having the laugh of her life. And her name is Sister Lakeisha Alston. Are you familiar with her?
Lives in North, she lives in North Carolina.
She lives in North Carolina.
All right. Such a big state. Where in North Carolina?
She, okay, so I want to say, okay, is it telling me? Let's see. So it says a Senate district, but I'm trying to find out the actual city. Durham, Durham, North Carolina.
Yeah, that's right next to Raleigh.
Okay. So
Okay,
that's where Duke is. That's where Duke is in
exactly.
Durham.
Yes, it is.
Right. So Lakeisha M. Alston, a Muslim woman, has entered the Republican primary race for North Carolina State Senate District 22. Despite her Republican registration, Alston has a long history of voting as a Democrat dating back to at least 2008. Her candidacy has sparked significant debate and concern among conservatives as it raises questions about the integrity of GOP primaries and the potential for strategic party switching. Alston's decision to run as a Republican in a district that is traditionally Democrat has led to speculations about her motives and the implications for the Republican Party in North Carolina. So she has two pictures that I guess, you tell
I,
me she's a
I,
candidate. She's got one with basically her entire face covered, and then she's got one where she's just wearing the hijab in a regular fashion.
how do you spell her name?
Lakeisha is Lakeshia, and the last name is Alston. And she looks like she's related to Sister Kalita. I know they're not related, but she looks like they're from the same family.
Uh, mm, I see her pictures. Of course, I wouldn't know if I know her because I can't see her.
Okay, well, there's two pictures of her though.
Well, the one
There's
I,
one. There's. I know you're looking at the one where the only thing you can barely see her eyes,
right,
right?
yeah. Then there's another one where the face is out. And I, I'll ask him about Noah.
I just thought she's having a moment, and she is having everyone on. She is just totally. The Republicans can't do anything about it.
Mm-mm.
It looks like she is on the ballot legally.
Unless if nobody's challenged her in terms of her residence or something else,
Hmm.
then she's on it.
Yeah.
And here's another picture. Okay. Wow.
Here's her quote. I am a Republican. I've matured in my own revelation of what the Republican Party represents, and it looks like me.
Mm. Well, they're going to reject her the same way
But
the same way they rejected
Candace,
no Austin. What's the brother's name in Florida?
oh yeah, I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
That Caucasian wearing them out. Oh man, well, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But when you guys do, are your primaries like California's where everybody's in the same primary?
No, you have a Republican primary, you have a Democratic
He
primary,
had a different, okay. So you're
and
like
then
Texas. Okay.
whoever comes out of that goes to the general election.
Hmm. So I wonder if there's actually even anybody running against her in the Republican primary, if it's basically a Democratic district. Whether that the Republicans even plan to spend any money on that seat.
Mm. I'll tell you in a minute. Let me go to North Carolina Board of Elections, and then look at that candidates for that. I used to know how to look this stuff up. And, and it'll take me a minute to look this stuff up, but
Oh, that's okay. Take your time. Because from some of the responses by Republican Party chairs and all that stuff that were in the article, I didn't read that. But
mhm,
stuff that I kind of scanned over, it would lead you to believe that they're like 100% bewildered, which would tell you they don't have another candidate in
right.
there. Oh, it did say she's the sole Republican candidate.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that now. I had to scan down a little bit. So she is the sole Republican candidate.
hmm
So yeah, I mean, I guess if she persists, she's going to be on the ballot in November or whenever you guys are on the same schedule as everybody else. You'll have your
Yeah,
state elections in November as well. Okay.
right.
So I wonder if she's somebody will know. I wonder if she's a member of our community.
Send it out. But I know somebody. I can ask tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested because
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting, I don't know, experiment by her. I mean, I'm sure they're bewildered on the Republican side, but I mean, how strongly can they actually even come out against her? I mean, they did run a so-called Negro for governor, didn't they?
Mark Roberts. Yeah. Hit it, Mark.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
So
they busted him. So I mean, bad news
somebody
came out.
busted him.
Somebody got him.
He's still married, right? His wife didn't divorce him.
I hadn't followed up on that, brother. I
I
had
just
not
remember
thought.
seeing I remember seeing that one picture of her, a press conference that he had, and she was sitting back there in the chair. She
Right,
looked like the absolute saddest woman on the face of the earth. She wanted to be anywhere but there.
right there, right.
Right. All right. That's all I've got for this evening. I hate that other people weren't around to throw their 2 cents worth in. I think we could have had some fun with some of this stuff because it's a wild and wacky world right now.
Mhm. Yeah, I did find out that she's the only one running in that district. Oh, hold on now. As a Republican, though.
Right, as a Republican, yeah. Because I think there were two or three Democratic
Democrats,
candidates,
yeah,
one incumbent
two,
and
two,
two.
two, two Democrats, yeah.
Okay. So they must be laughing up their sleeve. I mean, they were going to basically run against each other to see who was going to be the state senator anyway.
Hmm.
So they're probably, now they're just laughing at the Republicans in general,
Yes.
you know.
I find out, and I let you know Sunday
Okay.
if I got the 411 on them,
Okay. So what can we look forward to on Thursday morning?
brother. I have no idea.
Okay.
It's a tax season, man.
Okay.
And
So
if,
I'll just
if the rest of the days end up being like today,
hmm
brother, so I have no idea.
Okay. Well, I'll just treat it like a box of chocolates. See what I get.
Yeah, my planning and stuff like that. I can't. I'm planning for tomorrow.
I hear you. Understood.
Yeah, I'm planning for tomorrow. So, inshallah, appreciate you coming on and
Well, this is always fun. I just wish more people would be in on it so we could really have a hoot, but it'll get better.
yes,
So
inshallah.
close us out if you would with a dua.
Okay, I'm good. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Oh Lord, give us the best benefits in this life and the best benefits of the life to come, and save us from the torment of the hellfire. Amen.
Mean brother. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Get yourself some rest because I know the next 60 days is going to be something else for you.
Oh, you know it, inshallah. Thank you
All
very much,
right.
guys. All
All
right.
right, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Waking us on.